Here's something doctors know that most men never talk about. Stress from work, money, and family doesn't just disappear at night. It follows you into the bedroom. It can be lying next to the woman you have loved for years, and suddenly your mind will not let your body do what it has always done naturally. For situations like that, doctors look for treatments that help both body and the brain, and that's where Rougiette Ready comes in. Unlike Viagra and Cialis, Rougiette Ready is a next-generation prescription treatment designed to help increase blood flow and prime your brain for arousal. It combines 3 clinically proven ingredients in 1 mint that dissolves under your tongue so it absorbs fast. Most men are ready in about 15 minutes, so you can stay present, confident, and in control when the moment is right. Over 400,000 men have already made the switch to Rougiette. Getting started is simple. Rougiette connects you with a board-certified doctor online, and your treatment ships discreetly to your door. For a limited time only, head to Rougiette.com/dogs to get 15% off your order. That's Rougiette, Rougiette.com/dogs to get 15% off. Make sure to use our link so they know we sent you. Rougiette.com/dogs.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and 0 weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20 to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Again, go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20.
Welcome to the Dogs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
What's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Josh All, your host, midweek, looking back now on free agency. Day 2, what did the Browns do? We signed a couple more players. We haven't been doing anything wild and crazy, but we have been attacking the offensive line specifically. Actually, we've only signed 1 player who's not an offensive lineman so far. So the league year officially kicks off today. Sorry, I had a hair float in front of my eyeball there. The league year kicks off today, and a lot of these deals, obviously Monday, Tuesday, that was that legal tampering period. So deals and trades and things that were put into place, or I should say agreed upon, were not put into place, made official until today. Today's when signings and trades and things like that actually get finalized as the new league year begins. We do have a trade to talk about that looked like it was going to happen. Not going to happen anymore. So you guys know what I'm talking about there. We'll dive into that here toward the end. But I really just want to do a quick recap of what the Browns did yesterday, what they might do today as the league year begins and all that kind of stuff. So before I dive into it, remind you guys, go to jointhedogs.com to jump into the Discord. Join the 24/7 conversations going on about this team, really about everything. People in there just talking about life and other sports. You got Cavs, you got NASCAR. Like, there's just all kinds of conversations going on in there, but primarily the Browns. And with the free agency opening up this week and the draft right around the corner next month, it's a great place to be to connect with other diehard Browns fans from around the world. So it's a great online Browns fan community. That's jointhedogs.com. All right, let's hit it off here with the big one. Okay, the Browns signed offensive lineman, is what I'm going to call him, Elgton Jenkins from the Green Bay Packers. The Packers just released this guy, what was it, on Monday? Yeah, so it was Monday. I get my days all mixed up right now. But Monday they released him. Yesterday the Browns signed him. So what I'm gathering, at least, because again, I don't follow every single NFL team. I am a Browns podcaster. And what I've been able to read and gather from Elgton Jenkins with the Packers is he failed a physical, however all that works. And obviously we got to talk about that with Max Crosby here at the end, but failed a physical after breaking his leg last year, put on IR, had surgery, all that kind of stuff. He'll be good to go for the season, but that's the second major injury he suffered over 7 seasons with the Packers. He also tore an ACL. I forget which season that was. It was, it might have been 2021. I'm just looking at snap counts here, and that was his lowest season. So I'm guessing it was 2021. Yeah, was the torn ACL. So those are the two big things for Elgton Jenkins. But otherwise, he has started the vast majority of every game each season. Back to 2019 when he was drafted, they took him in the second round out of Mississippi State. 6'5", 311. He just turned 30 years old, so he's a little bit older as well. The Browns signed him to a 2-year, $24 million contract with $20 million guaranteed. I know there's been a lot of scuttlebutt online about PFF grades and all that kind of stuff for offensive linemen, but I got to tell you guys that is really... I don't know how else to evaluate offensive linemen. You can go to ESPN and look at run block win rate, pass block win rate, that kind of stuff. Okay. But you think about every other position on a football team, I can go look at the deeper metrics and get a good grasp and analyze wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks. I can flip to the defense and I can do, safeties, corners, defensive linemen, linebackers, every position. You can go through all these deeper metrics and stats and numbers and things and tell a good story about a player. There's really no good evaluation tool for offensive linemen. PFF, like the most I can get here, you get the grades, offense, pass blocking, and run blocking. And then I can look at how many sacks they've given up, how many hits and hurries, and that all goes into how many total pressures each lineman has given up. There's pass blocking efficiency and all that stuff, but those numbers are there's such a thin line between like a 98 and a 99. I don't even know what really is good. You can look and see how many penalties a guy's had. But other than that, it's really tough to gauge offensive linemen without doing a deep, extensive film study, which not everybody's going to do. I'm not going to do it on every single offensive lineman out there. So what I can tell you about Elgton Jenkins, though, if we're going to look at PFF grades, which I'm going to do, whether you like it or not, he's graded out very well over the course of his career. Every single season, his offense grade, I would say, is more on the average side, his overall offensive grade. But his pass blocking grades are superb. I'm loving the greens. It's 72, 74, 81, 67, 78, 81, 72. Like he's done very well in pass protection. And that all goes to the sack number for Elgton Jenkins. He's played 7 seasons in the NFL, just 9 sacks given up total over his career. 9 sacks in 7 seasons. That's insane. Absolutely insane. And the thing about it is, what's really makes this more impressive about that sack number, Elgton Jenkins doesn't just play one position. I know a lot of people are like, oh, the Browns got their new center. Maybe he can play center. That's where he played primarily last year. But that's the only season really that he's played center. He played a little bit of center back in 2020 in his second season. He started out in 2019 as the left guard, it looks like. I'm just going on the snap counts here because I thought he played left tackle replacing David Bakhtiari, but per PFF, left guard, 1,000 snaps as a rookie in 2019. By the way, made the all-rookie team. He's made 2 Pro Bowls. This is a good player. A little bit older now, all that kind of stuff. Got some injury history. Not a ton. It's not super extensive. He's got 2 major injuries in his 7-year career again. But again, after 7 seasons in the NFL, it's very rare to have a player after that many seasons not have dealt with injuries. So it's going to happen. What you don't want to see is them popping up every single year like Jack Conklin. So I think we're okay with Elgton Jenkins. But like I said, 1,000 snaps, left guard. Back in 2019, 2020, it looks like he stayed at left guard, but he did play 300 snaps at center. And then in 2021, maybe this is when he replaced David Bakhtiari, 495 snaps at left tackle. And that was, I think that was the year he tore his ACL because that was a shortened season. Coming back off of that injury, though, in 2022, played almost 1,000 snaps that season, 600 at left guard, and he played over 300 at right tackle. So here we go. We got a guy bouncing all over the offensive line. 2023, he played all of his snaps, over 1,000, at the left guard position. Again in 2024, 1,000 snaps at left guard, and now in 2025, this past season, 500 snaps at center. So this is a guy, again, 9 sacks over 7 years all across the line. It's not like he locked down one position on the offensive line and did it really well. He was bouncing around the offensive line, and at every spot they put him, he was solid, a very solid player for the Green Bay Packers. I mean, his overall run blocking grades are decent. I will tell you guys that. They're not like top of the league at his position, but they're certainly not bad. They are certainly not bad. I don't want to go through them all. I mean, it's like, they're in the 60s. There's a couple years where 70, one year where he's almost at 80 overall in run blocking. And then if you just look game per game last year, he had 3 games at 85. Or I'm sorry, that was pass blocking. Still really good on that end. Run blocking, he had 2 games where he was right at 70. A couple other games where he was in the 60s. Just 1 game where he was below 50. And that's it. So, and actually that was against the Browns. That was against that Browns team and that Browns defense in week 3 that we just suffocated the the Packers. And actually, funny enough, I'm seeing it here now. He gave up only 2 sacks all of last season, and both of them came week 3 against the Browns. Was the only game he gave up a sack, and he gave up both of his sacks against the Browns in Cleveland. So I like this move for the Browns. There's a lot of other stuff we could probably dive into with Elgton Jenkins, but I think that kind of covers the most of it right now. We've got a solidified starter here, and this kind of leads into, I got a couple messages here from the website and also a voicemail to play toward the end, but this will lead into the offensive offensive line overhaul that the Browns are in the middle of doing right now. So I guess I'll mention before I break down that whole perspective, we did re-sign offensive guard Teven Jenkins yesterday. So we got Elgton Jenkins and we re-signed Teven Jenkins. So the Jenkins brothers, who by the way are not brothers, they just happen to both be named Jenkins. But if you guys remember Teven Jenkins, we signed him last year to a 1-year, $3 million prove-it deal type thing. Didn't play at all last season up until, week 13 is kind of when he started rotating at right guard with Wyatt Teller. There was a lot of speculation on that move by Kevin Stefanski and what they were doing, whether maybe that was coming down from the front office. And it kind of looks like maybe it was, because even with Kevin here doing whatever was going on with Wyatt Teller, rotating in with Teven Jenkins, and then, of course, Teller got injured, so Jenkins had 4 starts at right guard, all that kind of stuff. But now the Browns go out and bring him back. It sure feels like they were trying to get a somewhat of an evaluation of whether or not they wanted to do this during the offseason. So he's back, Teven Jenkins. Haven't seen the contract details yet. Those haven't been released as far as I have seen. I would imagine it's probably just another 1-year deal. At most, it would be a 2-year deal, would be my guess. But I don't think it's going to be a big contract at all. This is a guy who's dealt with a ton of injuries in his career. He played for the Bears for his first 4 seasons. He was their second-round pick in 2021, 39th overall. So a pretty high pick for this offensive guard out of Oklahoma State. Jenkins, 6'6", 320 pounds, 28 years old. He, aside from his rookie season in 2021, where he only played 160 total snaps, his PFF grades his rookie season were abysmal. After that, excellent. I mean, just green across the board. The only time he didn't have a grade in any of the categories, offense, pass blocking, run blocking, that wasn't, the lowest he had since then was a 65 in pass blocking his second season. Everything else has been over 70 or 80. Aside from last season, his pass blocking grade for the Browns was down to a 60.8. That dropped from 75.8 the year before in Chicago. So I'm telling you guys, there was something going on with this offensive line last year. I was talking to my dad about this, and I said, you cannot tell me that every single offensive lineman that we had last year just sucked, just fell off a cliff at the same time in the same season all at once. You've got guys like, we're talking Joel Bitonio, all-pro, Pro Bowler. We're talking Ethan Posick, one of the better centers in the league. We're talking Wyatt Teller, a Pro Bowler. We're talking Jack Conklin and these guys, Cornelius Lucas, who we signed to be a swing tackle, who played very, very well for the Washington Commanders, who we just cut because he was no good last year. It's one thing to have a couple offensive linemen not play very well, especially when their track record is, I guess what I should say here, their track record is these are very good offensive linemen. They have been over the course of their career. When all of them just suck at one time all at once, there's something else going on, and it was the offensive scheme. You can't convince me otherwise. We know this from 2023 when the Browns went down and got their butts whooped by the Texans in the wild card round. The Texans defense knew the plays we were going to run. They were calling out what we were going to do before we did it. If teams were able to predict what Kevin Stefanski was trying to run back in 2023 when he had Alex Van Pelt and other people on the staff to help him, yeah, we saw that really escalate over 2024 and really here in 2025. It puts your offensive linemen at a severe disadvantage when the defenders opposite them have a pretty good idea what's coming their way. They can get a pretty good first step on you because they're firing out, knowing what you're trying to do. So I will give Teven Jenkins the benefit of the doubt because overall, like last year, his offensive grade was 77. His run blocking was a 79. I don't know what that graded out compared to the rest of the players on our team last year. Probably one of the better ones, if not the best. That's very high for a run blocking grade. So again, got to keep in mind that a lot of the games, a lot of the snaps that we're seeing listed here for PFF and everything for Teven Jenkins were split snaps. He wasn't playing in the entirety of these games. He was rotating with Wyatt Teller. But when he was in there, definitely effective compared to what the rest of the offensive line looked like last season. So there we go. Those are the moves the Browns have made yesterday. Elgton Jenkins and Teven Jenkins. So what that tells me is there are 3, maybe 4. We'll just say maybe 4 starting offensive line positions already filled. Definitely 3. Definitely 3. The way the contracts, the way these guys are paid, Titus Howard is paid to be the starting right tackle. That's where he's going to, he's going to be a starter. And then Zion Johnson was signed and paid to be the starting probably left guard. And then it makes sense because if you want him playing left guard, which is where he's primarily played, Teven Jenkins here is, slotted in as right guard. He's the maybe for me. I think they probably signed him with the mindset that he's going to start at right guard, but I wouldn't marker him in. I wouldn't pen him in. I'll just pencil him in at right guard for the moment. We'll see what else they do in free agency. We'll see what they do in the draft. If they go get like a Jennings Dunker, maybe he ends up starting at right guard. We'll see what happens. We'll see what they decide to do. But the other guy that's guaranteed to be a starter is Elgton Jenkins. He was also paid. And the thing with him, like I mentioned when I was talking about him, can play any position on that offensive line. Wherever you put him, he's going to hold it down and do a very decent job. So the Browns are getting their veteran linemen in here for sure. You've got, I guess Zion Johnson is 26 years old. So he's a younger veteran with that upside that they're hoping to unlock with Paul Warhop at the offensive line coaching spot. So we'll see. It's really encouraging, at least, that they are investing here in the offensive line. I do have some reservations. I've watched Andrew Berry operate in the offseason for 6 years now. Well, I guess this is year 7. But the first 6 years, the Browns always have 1 or 2, maybe 3 glaring weak positions on the roster each offseason. And Andrew Berry historically seems to be able to attack one glaringly weak position and solidify it. He does a good job at that. But the other positions that are lacking, I don't know if neglect is the right word. They kind of get neglected or just forgot about, or there's just not, you can't invest heavily at every position you need. But you see now through 2 days of free agency, we've signed, 3? We've signed 3 and traded for 1 the other week, offensive linemen. We've signed 1 defensive player. Actually, we've signed 1 player who's not an offensive lineman, and it was Quincy Williams at the linebacker position. Here's something doctors know that most men never talk about. Stress from work, money, and family doesn't just disappear at night. It follows you into the bedroom. It can be lying next to the woman you have loved for years, and suddenly your mind will not let your body do what it has always done naturally. For situations like that, doctors look for treatments that help both body and the brain, and that's where Rougiette Ready comes in. Unlike Viagra and Cialis, Rougiette Ready is a next-generation prescription treatment designed to help increase blood flow and prime your brain for arousal. It combines 3 clinically proven ingredients in 1 mint that dissolves under your tongue so it absorbs fast. Most men are ready in about 15 minutes so you can stay present, confident, and in control when the moment is right. Over 400,000 men have already made the switch to Rougiette. Getting started is simple. Rougiette connects you with a board-certified doctor online, and your treatment ships discreetly to your door. For a limited time only, head to Rougiette.com/dogs to get 15% off your order. That's Rougiette, Rougiette.com/dogs to get 15% off. Make sure to use our link so they know we sent you. Rougiette.com/dogs.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and 0 weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20 to get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Again, go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20.
This episode is partnered with Kalshi. Browns fans, are you ready to put your money where your predictions are? With Kalshi, America's #1 regulated prediction market, you can legally trade on events that actually matter to you. And the best part is you don't need to predict specific stat lines and compile a 7-leg parlay just to win big. With Kalshi, the objective is either yes or no. Will Shedeur Sanders be the Browns' Week 1 starting quarterback? Will Fernando Mendoza be the first overall pick in the draft? Will the Browns make their pick at 6, or will they trade out of that spot? And in other sports, will the Cavs win the NBA Finals? You can put your money on these predictions and more with Kalshi. If you want to try it out, Kalshi is giving $10 to anyone who signs up at Kalshi.com/dogs and trades $100. Get away from disadvantageous sports books and dive into real-world outcomes with real-time odds and real payouts. Head over to Kalshi, KALSHI.com/dogs, DAWGS, or just click the link in the description to get $10 when you trade $100 with Kalshi. Because why shouldn't you get paid for being right? This episode is brought to you by Baden Sports. Browns fans, Baden Sports is your one-stop shop for all your athletic gear. Baden started out perfecting and manufacturing the best balls in the business. Yeah, if that sounded dirty, that's more about your mind than my words. But hey, it's true. Baseballs, softballs, footballs, basketballs, volleyballs, soccer balls, you name it, and Baden has engineered the highest standard sports balls available. And now they offer more than just sports balls. If you got kids playing baseball or softball, Baden has batting gloves and bats to go along with both game balls and training balls. If you're into basketball, Baden makes basketball specifically for indoor or outdoor use. Heck, Baden even has all the equipment you need for pickleball, which is one sport that I hear everyone is playing, and yet I still never have. And I need to fix that soon. But don't miss the backyard games section of Baden's website, where you can order everything you need for this upcoming outdoor season. Pool balls, backyard volleyball nets, croquet, bocce, horseshoes, cornhole, and more. Right now, you can get 10% off your entire order at Baden Sports, BADEN sports.com/dogs, DAWGS, and use promo code DOGS when you check out. That's 10% off all the top quality sporting gear you need this season. BadenSports.com/dogs. So that leaves the other major offensive need position still very much open and unattended to, and that's wide receiver. So it makes me think there's a good chance, or at least a decent chance, we're going to do a wide receiver at 6, maybe trade back a little bit. There should be some investment in that freaking position in the draft. I would hope to God, because we need it. Obviously, we are not attacking the top free agent wide receivers, because you got like Alec Pierce went for $28.5 million over a four-year deal. That was what it was worth per year. Back to the Colts. I mean, just to run through some of these guys. Wan'Dale Robinson, $17.5 million a year. Romeo Doubs, $17 million a year. Browns aren't paying Romeo Doubs. You guys, if you watch the free agency breakdown, I broke down why he's just not going to be worth the money. Rashid Shaheed, $17 million a year. Mike Evans, he wasn't coming here, guys. He was going somewhere where he had a chance to win a Super Bowl. Jalen Naylor, a guy that I liked potentially for the Browns, went for almost $12 million per year. So, the wide receivers, again, you can't get them in free agency. You just can't. That's not the place to find wide receivers. It's the place where you're going to overpay for a wide receiver 2 at best. Wide receiver 3s, I mean, that's exactly what we saw happen in free agency so far. So that's what the Browns have done. Again, by the time you guys are watching this, we may have made some other moves, maybe had some other signings. Both days so far to kick off free agency, it's been really a slow burn, just kind of sitting there scrolling, refreshing Twitter, like, hey, I guess we're not really going to do much. And then we make a couple signings here and there, and we are slowly but surely filling out this offensive line first and foremost. I do anticipate them to sign. We need a cornerback added to this roster. We need another edge rusher added to this roster. Maybe they go after a wide receiver in free agency. I don't even really know who's available that I would, let me just pull this up real quick. I don't even know if there's anybody out there I'd be interested in. I think the more likely option at wide receiver is that they're going to trade for somebody. That's what Andrew Berry likes to do at receiver, and that's what he has done. So that's what all the smoke and rumors are about right now, is how he's looking into these wide receiver trades. We're all hoping for the big splash like the Marvin Harrison Jr., or the Brian Thomas Jr. It might be Rashad Bateman from the Ravens. I don't know. I mean, it's very hard to acquire these players. I'm seeing that. I don't think that's probably going to happen for one of those bigger name guys. So as far as the wide receiver market goes, your top end right now is like Jawan Jennings, Deebo Samuel, Tyreek Hill, as far as like the projected average annual value of their salaries. And then you break down into Darnell Mooney, Keenan Allen, Marquise Brown, Christian Kirk. There's Calvin Austin, Jalen Tolbert, and then you just get into a bunch of names where it's like, I don't care. I don't care. So they're going to have to do either make a trade and or draft these wide receivers to get them on the roster for this season. So that's what we should be looking for as the week continues with the new league year opening up. I want to read this message real quick from Kane over in Ireland. He says, "What's up, dogs?" Little tidbit here before the question. "I was walking back from the supermarket here in Dublin, and as I got near my house, I hear a voice saying, 'Excuse me,' and I thought it might be somebody looking for looking for directions, but it was a young woman, and the question I asked was, 'Are you a Browns fan?' I had my Browns hat on, and she was very excited to see a Browns fan in Ireland. Must not be too many of us. She was going to call her family and say she spotted one of us out in the wild. Now on to my question. Playing a little devil's advocate, do you think the Browns still hold out hope for DeJuan Jones? Given that he trimmed the weight last season and the third season-ending injury was more of a freak one, given it was a low hit, and with the O-line free agency pickups, do we think they start with Jones at left tackle with the plans to draft a left tackle to take over during the season? Go Dogs. Gotta love the Go Dogs there at the end. Thanks for the question, Kane. Now, first of all, it's awesome to have Browns. I love hearing from Browns fans all over the world. This is fantastic. And I'm glad that you spotted another one there in the wild of Ireland. But DeJuan Jones, to me, man, and the thing is, you guys know, I love Big Thanos. I think he's a cool dude. I love the potential. He's 6'8", like 370 some pounds. Like the dude's a freaking human mountain, and he's got that basketball background. Like he can go end to end on the court and dunk, and he's athletic. But I hate to say it, but he just kind of feels like a lost cause. And I hear what you're saying, that last year's season-ending injury was a fluke because it was a low hit. But you got guys like Jack Conklin who are hurt every single year, and the The injury that took him out in 2023, that week 1 during the Bengals game, where DeJuan Jones as a rookie came in then to play right tackle the rest of the season until he got hurt. That was a fluke injury to Jack Conklin as well, where he got rolled up on, I think it was either by Jed Wills or the guy Jed Wills failed to block. I forget how it happened, but it was one of those deals as well. But once you have this history of every year you're hurt one way or another, really hard to get away from that. We just know that's how it goes. This is the last year of his rookie deal. He's never played a full season. Like, I've said it all along, and I'm going to keep saying it. If the Browns, and Blake said this last year, if the plan is to go into the season with DeJuan Jones as one of your starting tackles, you are setting yourself up for failure. Now, if, like you suggest here, they draft Monroe Freeling at pick 6, or they trade back to 10 or 12 or whatever and still get Freeling. Okay. And they decide they want to start with DeJuan Jones at left tackle while Freeling gets a little more acclimated and maybe some NFL practice reps and strength conditioning and things under his belt. Okay. You know, he's only started, 15, 16 games in college. I forget what the number is, 14. One season as the starter in college at left tackle for Freeling. It was a good season for him, but only one. And maybe he just needs a little more time to get up to speed. Okay, I could see a situation there where you have DeJuan Jones starting out the season, and then Freeling would be the guy to eventually take over. Okay, I'm with you on that. But to go into the season with DeJuan Jones just, slotted in as the left tackle, and then, I hope everything goes well. No, that they can't do that again. That would be a terrible mistake. So that's where I stand on Mr. DeJuan Jones. But thank you, Kane, for the email. And now, I didn't even tease this at the top of the show, but I got a message from our boy, Vinty. So I'll read this message here from Vinty. I know you guys love hearing from him. He loves messaging in. And then I got a voicemail to play, and we'll wrap this thing up for today and see what the Browns do over the course of the rest of the week here. But Vinty says, I still have Tate and Lemon as my top 2 wide receivers. I do too, Vinty. He says, but I have been getting higher and higher on Boston. Okay, I do like Denzel Boston. I still think I probably have Omar Cooper right now ahead of Boston after everything that I've done. But either way, I like both those players. And I think KC Concepcion could be a good one too in the first round, toward the end of the first round. He says, I've never been big. Oh, look at that. Right into what I was just saying. Vinty says, I have never been big on Concepcion, but now, and I have absolutely no interest in Concepcion. I heard both Boston and Concepcion give interviews on Pro Football Talk in the last couple of weeks, and after that, I am even more interested in Boston and completely out on Concepcion. There was a clear and massive difference in their intelligence level as Concepcion struggled to produce coherent sentences. He sounded similar to the genius that calls in to say, F. Vinty. That was Adam. I wish I had the mental and verbal acuity to come up with an argument as clever and convincing as F. Vinty, but I guess that kind of brilliance proves me wrong and wins the debate. If Concepcion is coming off that badly in his team interviews, he is going to fall in the draft big time. After listening to that interview, I wouldn't trust Concepcion to let me know if water was wet, much less draft him as a top receiver. I am going to be very interested to see what happens with him in the draft, but I definitely hope the Browns avoid him completely. All right. First of all, Vinty, I didn't watch all of his interviews to gauge what he actually said, the words he said in his answers. But I will tell you and remind everybody out there who doesn't know, KC Concepcion does struggle with his speech. He has a stutter problem. He has a speech impediment. So if you're basing his perceived intelligence level on the way he spoke and, presented himself, you can't really do that because he struggles with his speech. So there is an issue there. It doesn't necessarily mean he's dumb. It just means he struggles speaking, and there's a lot of people out there that have that. So no, I still think that KC Concepcion has his production profile from college is excellent. And the only real issue with him was a high drop rate. And that might be enough to take him off the board for some Browns fans, obviously, because we've already got Jerry Jeudy, right? And that's also why I didn't want Romeo Doubs, because I don't need 2 of those. But I still like Casey Concepcion. It'd be much more interesting to me if we were able to get him at like 39, or if we had to move up to like, 35 or something to snag him if that was a guy the Browns identified. But we'll see how that goes. He's got one more thing here, Vinty does. He says, sadly, the more I hear about this tackle class, the more I think Barry is going to reach for a tackle at 6 and pass on wide receiver until 24. I still don't think any of these O-linemen are worth the top 10 pick, but I think there will be a run on tackles in the middle of the first round. I sure as hell hope Boston is still there at 24. Well, you know what? With the Pittsburgh Steelers trading for Michael Pittman Jr. from the Colts, and a lot of mock drafts had a wide receiver, usually Denzel Boston, projected to go to the Steelers at 21. That kind of takes them out of the running in the first round for a wide receiver. I think there's a strong chance Boston's there at 24. I think there might be a chance Jordan Tyson's there at 24. Or late teens, maybe right around the 20 range. I think some of these wide receivers, I think Tate and Lemon will definitely go top 15, but I think after that you're going to see wide receivers maybe fall a little bit more toward the back end of that first round in the 20s area. So we'll see how that actually shakes out, but that's kind of the vibe I'm getting right now. Yeah, the tackle class, as far as like the top end talent at the tackle position in this class isn't great. I think Maui Noah is probably worth a top 10 pick. And if you're gunning for left tackle and you don't think you can trade back and still get this guy, or you just can't trade back at all because nobody's interested in moving up, and they might take Freeling at 6. And would that be a reach? Maybe. But man, does the guy have a freaking high ceiling and potential. I just, I like him. I like Monroe Freeling, but I'm with you, Vinty, actually. I do agree. I think that the lack of top-end potential at the tackle position in this class will force teams, and the Browns could be one of them, depending on what we do keep doing here in free agency, but we could reach for a tackle. It might end up being a bad move. It might end up being a good move. We'll just kind of have to wait and see how that goes. But thank you, Vinty, for the message. I always enjoy having conversations here on the show with you. So let's wrap this thing up with a discussion about the Baltimore Ravens real quick. We got a voicemail from Claude.
Hey, gang. Claude from Uriel. So we got a trade proposal. Deshaun Watson for Max Crosby. I'm just kidding. I know that would never happen, but I am relishing in this right now because I am just so happy that the Ravens don't get their new toy. But this does concern me a little bit because we know the Ravens they'll go deep on someone. They'll swing the bat on someone. So is this a good or a bad thing? Because is there anyone really else out there that they would go for? But in the end of it all, the Ravens go Browns. Woof, woof.
All right, Claude, thank you again for the voicemail. Always love hearing from you. This Max Crosby situation is hairy, man. And for anybody out there that didn't see the headlines or catch the news or anything yet, the Raiders posted on their social media that the Ravens are backing out of the deal, the trade deal, for defensive end edge rusher Max Crosby. They have no further comment at this time. And that's what sent social media into a frenzy last night. And then you had, Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero and Diana Rossini and all the insiders in the NFL start posting things about, well, hang on a second. Max Crosby failed his physical with the Ravens, so they decided to back out of the trade. They're getting their 2 first-round picks back. So if you remember, they gave up their 2026 first-round pick, which was number 14 overall to the Raiders, as well as their 2027 first-round pick to get Max Crosby. And it's like, okay, well, he failed his physical. And then you see like his agent and his surgeon, because if you know or remember, he had a surgical procedure to repair his meniscus in, I forget which knee, in the offseason here after he hurt it last year during the season. And by all accounts, like the surgery went well. He's doing his rehab. He's going to be fine. He'll be good to go for the season. But when these guys go to the new team that they're being traded to and they do the physical check and the medical check and then they don't pass it, whatever that means. And again, I think there's more to this And then simply saying, oh, he failed his physical, doesn't mean he can't play. From what I understand, failing the physical just means a team has a threshold for the risk that they're willing to take on with a player. And when you're trading 2 first-round picks for a player, your risk threshold is a whole lot lower. Now, there's a lot of speculation that the Ravens are kind of doing a dirty job here. And we're going to see how things go and how they play out here in free agency. But Trey Hendrickson, edge rusher from the Bengals, is obviously a free agent and available. There's some speculation. I'm not saying this is what happened, okay? As much as I hate the Ratbirds and I hate everything to do with them, there is speculation that maybe they saw the, let's call it quote-unquote failed physical, as an opportunity to get those 2 first-round picks back because they want to go after Trey Hendrickson, and they'd rather just pay him a contract, keep their first-round picks, and move forward with him versus Max Crosby and giving up 2 first-round picks. It's an interesting situation. It's something to monitor. And like I said, I don't have all the details. I think things are still unfolding. There's kind of like a 72-hour rule with these type things. Let's let all the details come out before we jump to drastic conclusions. But it is very interesting to see what is going on right now with the Ravens and the Max Crosby trade. Obviously, the Raiders have gone out assuming that Max Crosby was gone and off their books and that they had this 14th overall pick and signed a bunch of free agents to some high contracts. Tyler Linderbaum, they gave a record-breaking $27 million contract or $27 million a year contract. I mean, they've done some work in free agency. So they're still reaching out to teams, other teams that were interested in Max Crosby to try to get a deal done and get him moved. But it is wild. This whole situation is crazy. And again, once I get more details, once more information comes out, we will talk about it. We'll discuss it here on the show. But that's kind of the scoop on what's going on right now with the Ravens and Max Crosby. So I appreciate you guys and your voicemails, your messages, even you, Venti, even you. I appreciate it because look at that, man. I know you called me an idiot and a moron for like the first 2 or 3 messages, but we're really on the same wavelength here, man. We are agreeing on a lot of things and seeing it the same way. So that's pretty cool. But again, if you guys don't agree with anything I said, feel free, drop it in the comments, drop me a voicemail, a message. Tell me what you don't agree with and tell me why. I am, by no means do I think I am 100% right about everything. Obviously, I got my opinions, my takes and stuff, but I don't mind seeing a different point of view and trying to have an open mind about what it is you're thinking. So let me know those things as well. Go to jointhedogs.com. Again, guys, if you want to be part of the Discord community, jump in there, hang out with everybody. We do Dog Pack Discord live shows usually once a week right now with we got 3. I was sick for like 2 weeks. Blake was sick for a week and a half. Justin's sick right now. It's crazy. I'm in the process of moving homes. I got this new studio I'm trying to put up here and everything. It's a wild time, but we will be doing more Dog Pack Discord live episodes. So jump in there. You can jump on stage, talk with us, be part of the show. It's a ton of fun. And then, of course, you get to be part of the fantasy football leagues as a part of that community. And those are going to be starting up. The registration opens up in June, which here we are, almost mid-March. It's coming, guys. Things are going to roll fast as soon as, this first week of free agency wraps up. And then the draft is going to be here. We're going to be doing night 1 live on YouTube, a full live stream of the entire first round of the NFL draft. So both Browns picks, if they make them, we will be there to cover it all. So make sure you guys mark your calendars, hang out with us, make us your second screen experience on draft night 1, Thursday, April, whatever it is. I don't even have the dates or anything pulled up, but we always start at 7:45. Draft kicks off at 8, and we'll be with you the entire first round. So that's going to be a ton of fun. We love doing that show from our main studio every season. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned to our social media pages, our feeds, because that's where all the most up-to-date information is going to be coming from. I'll try to get in here and do another quick microcast, short podcast for you guys later in the week detailing the rest of the moves that we make here over the next few days, because we're not done, and we'll see if we make a trade or a big splash for a wide receiver or anything like that. So thank you guys again. I'll see you guys in the comments, and I'll talk to you again in the next episode.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at The Dogs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedogspodcast.com.
This episode is sponsored by ISSA. Browns fans, if you're into health and fitness, have you ever wondered how you could maybe turn those hobbies and your passion into an actual career? If that sounds interesting to you, then ISSA has the opportunity you've been looking for. ISSA is the International Sports Science Association, and they can help you become a certified personal trainer in as little as 3 months. And right now you can get $100 off your certification when you sign up through our link, joinissa.com/dogs, DAWGS. Now, certifications are 100% online, self-study, and self-paced. You can study anywhere from your phone, tablet, or computer. And the final exam is open note, open book, aka piece of cake. Except you fitness nuts probably don't eat a ton of cake, so let's just call it a piece of delicious protein bar. And ISSA has the #1 job guarantee in the industry. If you get certified and sign up to be a certified trainer with ISSA, you have a job guarantee or your money back. ISSA has over 10,000 gym partners that have over 73,000 open jobs for trainers right now. And you don't need a 4-year degree or a 2-year degree. You just need your certification to qualify for these jobs. So what are you waiting for? With certification this simple, there's no excuse not to pursue your passion and become a certified personal trainer today. Get $100 off your certification at joinissa.com/dogs. You've wanted to make a change long enough. Now it's time to do something about it. That's joinissa.com/dogs for $100 off your personal trainer certification.